Hey everyone, welcome to Patriot Retail Box, where I give you my country news today as reported by the Wall Street Journal. First up, I yesterday took my American politics final at college and took my international relations one today. Pretty sure I aced both, but I'll let you know. I'll let you know on Wednesday when I actually get my final grades, and so you can see if I'm really as good at American politics as I claim to be on the show. But let's go to actually U.S. and world news now, shall we? Not just about me. First up, the big event is the Tory victory in Great Britain. So it seems that Britain's still pretty set on Brexit. I mean, and good on Boris Johnson and his Tories for actually listening to the voters for once, and deciding to still go with Brexit. So as I recall correctly, Johnson had a pretty sizable majority that he won. And then his opponent, Jeremy Corbyn's actually stepping down due to their dismal performance. And when I say dismal, I mean less than a third of Britain's legislature are occupied by the Labour Party. That horrible. And the thing to remember is that doesn't mean over 2/3 is Tory, because Britain has a multi-party system where we're pretty used to the two-party system, Republicans and Democrats, and there's a few third parties that don't really matter. Let's be real. They almost never win anything. Neither do the independents. Britain, however, has a multi-party system, as do many European countries, and so prime ministers have to form what's known as a coalition, where when they win, if they don't have a majority, they have to cobble together one with various parties. Like for a while, up until yesterday's election, it was the Tories and really they're the Conservatives, but their nickname is the Tories, kind of like Republican Party is the GOP. But yeah, the Conservatives were working with the Brexit Party to maintain a functioning majority. But really, they're a minority government. Still, though, it's a bit of a victory for nationalism as well, and for, putting your leaders putting their own countries first, because the EU had been muscling its members around. Britain's like, you know what? We want to do our own thing. And so, yeah, good on them. I mean, declining world power can't really influence anyone anymore. So, I mean, we might as well let them have this, right? Let them do their own thing. Also, the U.S. and China have agreed to a limited trade deal in which Trump will lower some of the tariffs on China. In exchange, they'll buy more farm goods. So, not quite the deal Trump wanted, but still a trade deal. So, for people who say that the tariff war isn't working, if it's working, I mean, they think, hey, no pain, no gain, right? I mean, it's a bit of a pinch on the economy, but the economy's still surging anyway, and it worked. We got some trade deal, right? Next up, also all over the world, there's pretty much every developed country now has a central bank, and even some developing ones have what's known as a central bank that prints money for the government. Ours is the Federal Reserve. Then the European Union has its own European Central Bank, because for every country that uses the euro, that is, which is about half the EU's members. But they still people still apparently use actual cash. I mean, I use cash because because there's a pastry shop in Boston that only takes cash, and they have really good pastries. So it's a sacrifice, but I have a wallet. So really though, most people in the developed world use credit or debit cards now. So, but central banks still don't print money for cash, because cash is still used. Problem is, they seem to be able to not find all of it, because some people bury it and then it gets then it decomposes. Some people lock it away and forget about it. Then a lot of stuff, for a lot of people, sometimes they accidentally get destroyed by either, as I said, decompose in the ground. Or if you're this one German guy, you put it in your defective boiler, and then your friend tries to warm up your house for you while he's staying over, and he incinerates over €500,000. It's a lot of money that just went up in flames. And so the problem with so in theory, central bank, they're by hoarding the money, is almost effectively reducing inflation in a way, because there's less money technically in circulation since people are just locking it away. Problem is, if they decide to open it up in those boxes and spend it someday, they're going to hyperinflate the economy. And so that's a problem for central bankers. They don't know how much money to print, because they don't know how much money already is there. And so they don't want to print out enough money to overcompensate. And someone's like, hey, look, I got 2 billion euros here, and then destroy some economies. So yeah, it's a bit of an issue for central bankers right now. They're trying to figure out how to count all that money. I mean, like Germany like the German wing of the European Central Bank estimates that there's like billions of euros that are unaccounted for. And then the impeachment set to advance. The articles of impeachment I believe I mentioned are obstruction of Congress, which basically means Trump didn't want to help Congress fire himself. That's ludicrous. That's like an article of impeachment because like they're mad that he didn't want to be fired, and so they're calling it obstruction of Congress and trying to impeach him for it. Am I missing something here? Tell me I'm missing something. Really, like comment below. Tell me that I'm missing something, please. I'm begging you. Like, this is ridiculous. I mean, maybe I'm not missing anything. I'm probably not missing anything given the state of politics right now. But come on, I want to have like a little faith left in humanity. Come on. But really, I don't have a whole lot. But the other article is abuse of power, which is incredibly vague. Like, it could mean literally anything. It's up to interpretation. So they didn't, after talking about quid pro quo, extortion, bribery, etc. for weeks, even months, they whittled it all down to stuff that isn't actually a crime. Hey, at least they point out Bill Clinton's impeachment. By the way, Nancy Pelosi and a lot of other Democratic leaders during the Clinton impeachment said that the partisan impeachment is bad, and look at how the tables have turned. Or as Michael Scott from The Office say, how the turntables. I prefer that version. But seriously though, it's like they're trying to impeach him over stuff that's not actually a crime. At least Clinton, like his crime was perjury. I mean, like Republicans sometimes say it was like cleansing the office or whatever, but really, at least they followed due process for Clinton. First of all, so they at least give him that courtesy. And second, they actually did charge Clinton with a crime, perjury. He lied under oath. Like, I did not have sex with Monica Lewinsky or whatever the heck he said. But he said that before under oath, and it turned out to be a lie that he admitted to. So I'll bet, I would be willing to bet anything that Clinton would have gotten off the hook completely, like no impeachment, whatever, if he actually owned up to it in the first place, right? I mean, he probably would. I mean, he got away with all his other affairs, but it was like the whole thing, the Monica thing was because he lied about it. So, like, under oath. If he lied about it and then admitted to it, but not under oath, probably still could have gotten a fine. And for the record, he's the only president in modern history whose approval rating is higher when he left office than when he entered. Thanks, Reagan coattails, for providing with a great economy. But yeah, most people said according to polls around the 90s, like most people, they didn't like Clinton's personal character, but liked the economy, so he stayed. Next up, the House also decides to pass a bill to reduce drug prices that the Senate's probably not going to take up because Trump's threatened to veto it if the Senate passes it. And it's really price controls. Like, they say, oh, we're reducing drug prices to help people. No, your price controls. They don't work. They never work. Ask Nixon when it came to oil price controls. Ask Carter when he kept those in place. Or in Ford between Carter and Nixon. Kind of forget about him because he only served 2 terms. Or 2 years, rather. Still, price controls don't work. You know why they don't work? First of all, it just goes against the entire all the laws of economics to have price controls. And second, if you put a cap on how much people can make from inventing stuff, then people are going to be less inclined to invent cool stuff, right? But they're telling people now in the U.S. are doctors flock here from all over the world because we actually have some of the even though the U.S. has some pretty deep pretty thick red tape when it comes to healthcare, it's not nearly as bad as in Europe or elsewhere. And so people flock here to invent drugs because there's not any rules. And so people look, I have all these great new treatments and I can sell for a bunch of money in America. Yes! But when it comes to price control, the price controls are put there to be wait, you're telling me I can't make a fortune out of this? I can't go retire in Fiji after a few years of selling this stuff and making millions. I can't do that anymore. Bye. That's what doctors are gonna do. They're gonna pack it and leave. I don't know where, but they're gonna find a place. Maybe where they can change the law. And Europe already has there's people from Europe and Canada have actually come to the U.S. for treatment because the red tape isn't as thick, and America invents more drugs and new treatment than Europe does, and Europe already has these pretty heavy rules that the House of Representatives is now proposing. Yeah, no thanks. But over to the op-ed section, we have let's see. Oh yes, it's an op-ed about how we won't touch much on this op-ed because I already talked about the implications of the Tory victory in Britain, but I'll talk a little about it again because it's in the op-ed section. So it's the best conservative victory since Margaret Thatcher. And I find it so funny because the U.S. and Britain are pretty heavily related. I mean British people settled here. America was a British colony. America broke away. Pretty closely tied, pretty deep history. But I think it's funny that both same time, 1980s, they had Thatcher, we had Reagan, so two big conservative figures. And also in 2016, there was a vote for nationalism. Britain voted to leave the EU. America voted for Trump, who wanted to put America first. Isn't it kind of funny how things work? I mean, really. It says also that's the biggest thrashing for the Labour Party since the 1930s. You think, and it's sort of like a warning for American left-wing populists. They think Sanders and Warren are again left-wing Trump. They're trying to if they think that you can counter Trump's right-wing populism with left-wing populism, Britain would show otherwise. I mean, obviously there's a vast number of differences between Great Britain and America, but still, I mean, they're pretty similar. I mean, commitment to democracy, speak English, have one big conservative party, one big liberal party. I mean, they're pretty similar, a little bit. They be driving the different side of the road, and they have a different accent, but yeah, pretty similar politics wise. So yeah, it's sort of a warning to Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders that maybe voters just aren't ready for leftism. I mean, but again, that's Great Britain. But Great Britain's already pretty liberal, compared to the United States. The center of their politics, America, our political center is really center right. In Britain, it's more like center left. So, they already have free healthcare, and a gun ban. So, I mean, if even Britain couldn't get a liberal guy in charge, then surely America's not going to get one. Good. Also, there's another op-ed scolding Warren for her saying that her healthcare plan, which cost $34 trillion over 10 years. So that for comparison, remember, tax revenue right now per year is $3.6 trillion, and then government spending is $4.6 trillion. So already running a $1 trillion a year deficit. And so for 34 trillion over 10 years, that's 3.4 trillion a year, right? So that she wants to almost double federal revenue just for healthcare. But apparently not, because with her magic wand, she'll make it only 20.5 trillion. Effing how are you gonna do that? How? How do you knock off? What is it? 13 point. Look at I can do more math than Warren. I can figure out that's $13.5 trillion less than what most economists say is hold on. Yeah, it's 13. That's about 13.5 trillion ish less, right? Yeah, 13.8 trillion less than what most economists say our plan is going to cost. How? Government typically increase prices. Look at what the best college is. Government's hey, we'll give you student loans so you can go to college. Now, college or university is supposed to be a collection of the smartest minds in the universe, right? And so you put a bunch of smart people together, and the government's giving them free money, essentially. They're since we're super smart, we can figure this out. Why don't we just increase prices so those suckers will pay us more? Boom! It's just soak the government for money back. And a lot of them are filed as non-profit. So that works well for for-profit ones because essentially get their tax money back plus the extra. And for non-profits who don't pay taxes anyway, they're not paying tax. They're taxing the government. And then finally, there's an article saying the wealth tax that Elizabeth Warren proposes, far from taking just 6% of billionaires' wealth a year, would actually soak a lot more. Because if you think about the logistics of it, first of all, it's a Herculean nightmare to figure out a precise dollar value for assets like houses and businesses. That's what most wealth is in the form of, not money. Billionaires aren't Scrooge McDuck skiing down hills of gold. No, they invest their money, and so the challenge, prices for those things, the value changes all the time. So first of all, which value you're going to report? The one for January, the one for February, your August value? Who knows? But apparently, he just says 6%. Apparently, she didn't know economics. I mean, that's pretty obvious anyway. And selling all that money means selling the business means that you don't selling the whole thing will more than pay for it. But when you sell away chunks of businesses or property or whatever, then you greatly reduce the ability to collect more wealth, and so your wealth disappears faster than it'll disappear a whole lot faster. You know what I mean? Her capital gains tax or wealth tax, it's all gonna because they have to sell so much stuff to pay the tax. That means they're also paying income tax on those sales. Then they're paying. Then they won't be able to raise as much money. Their wealth won't grow as much next year, and still be contributing even less in terms of dollars. And so Warren's system will quickly collapse in a few years because simply people don't have, the wealth to tax anymore. So really ridiculous. Let's not forget that billionaires are incredibly generous and give a lot of their money away. A lot of them have signed the Giving Pledge to give away a whole bunch of their wealth before they die. So really, it's more about the government wanting your money, not that they want to help people. And let me just finish off by saying that for all you people out there who said, "Oh, I don't really know, why do I need to go to school and learn math and history and economics? This is stupid." Screw you, because you're not voting for Bernie. Thanks a lot. That's all I got for you on this episode of Patriot Soapbox. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more great daily content.